playing with me. Look into my eyes, do it look like you playing me? Is it safe to be thinking that you could ever get over on me? I'm a rebel to this game, so ain't no rules if he finds me. I'm a felon in this industry. Y'all misdemeanors tell me smart, I'm new.
Yo, what's up, everybody? This is your man, Next Icon, with an early edition of the ICON Chronicles, definitely in the building. Today is Monday, October 31st. Happy Halloween, y'all. I got another special guest for y'all to get on the air today. I am not going to say his name because I'm going to screw it up because I am very bad with names. So I'm going to let him, I'm going to say his first name because I can say that one. But I'm going to let him introduce himself to y'all because I am not about to butcher this man's name. I promise y'all that if I try and say it, then I will. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce my man who's coming from my hometown of Grand Rapids, Michigan. He is the friend of my cousin Jerome. And his name is Nathan. I'm going to let him say his last name. So if he butchers his last name, yep, that's on him. He got to deal with his parents about messing it up. Mr. Nathan.
Peace.
What's up, man?
Thanks for having me, man. It's Crickwall. Crickwall. Don't worry. You're not the only one that butchered it. You won't be the first. You won't be the last. So. You call me Nate, though. That's fine with me.
All right, look, my day job, I get customers right, and I tell them the same thing. I'm like, look, I'm not even gonna try it. I'm not gonna butcher it. I'm not even gonna embarrass myself. So
I appreciate it, man. You got tact. You got real tact.
If it's simple, I'll try it. But I looked at that, I was like, okay, I can get the laugh, I can get the quiet, but okay, the other one, yeah, I'm not even gonna try.
Yeah.
So you are a videographer in Grand Rapids.
Yes. Yeah.
And Grand Rapids is starting to come up a little bit with the movies.
Yeah, they are. And we working, we're a talented city. We got a lot of culture, we got a lot of talent. So it's only right.
Well, it really excuse me, it's about time. I mean, I've been going from Grand Rapids for a number of years, and we were coming up musically when I left. And to see them moving into the movie industry has been a blessing. I love to see my city coming out and just doing something else different.
Yeah. Yes,
so now,
definitely.
Are you born and raised in Grand Rapids as well?
Not born and raised. My dad was in the military. He's from Grand Rapids. He's from the southeast side. He went to Ottawa. So I moved around a lot with him while he was in the military, and then he retired when I was 14. So I went to high school there and beyond. So since 14, my family's from here, so it's my home too. But I'm a graduate of East Kentwood High School, and yep.
All right. So now, how did you get into being into the video film and media industry?
Well, honestly, I was kind of a knucklehead when I was a kid, so I was kind of into the streets. But I was also into rap, hip hop. So, and I was a really good MC. I'm still a really good MC. And I figured out at after high school that I needed to stay out of the streets to save my life and not go to prison or even worse. So I went to college. I went to Western Michigan University, and when I went to college, I said, well, what's something that interests me? What's something that goes along with my talents that I already have and my interests that I already have? So I chose film school at Western Michigan University, which is where I got my bachelor's in communication and media. So that's what got me into film and media. I was always an artist. I was always into visuals to go along with the ideas that I had and the really cool lyrics that I came up with. I always felt like I needed visuals for it. So that's really why I got into film. In college. Yeah.
Now, it seems to me that even as an artist, because I come from the hip hop nation too, and that it's pretty much a transition. When you go from music, from performing music to producing music, to eventually moving into the media stream, to actually being moving to being a videographer. How was the transition for you, going from one to the other?
It was natural. But then it was also kind of tough because, as an MC, you really still kind of in the streets. Basically, it's like Nas said, the rap game reminds me of the crack game. So you're really still in the streets. So when I made the transition over to a videographer, I expected a little bit more professionalism. But when I was grinding and getting my hands dirty and getting my hands on equipment and working with local artists, it was still kind of the same thing. Still kind of really dealing with the streets. But I ended up joining our local union here, IATSE. Have you ever heard of IATSE?
Yeah.
International Association of Theatrical Stage and Entertainment Employees. So we're a local chapter 26 here, but again, it is international. So we're in Michigan, we're in the whole United States, and we're also in Canada. So then I started working behind the scenes on really big shows at the Van Andel. Grand Rapids, we get a lot of country concerts and rock concerts. So those are the ones that really sell out the Van Andel. So I started working those shows behind the scenes. Bands like Korn, Metallica, Kiss. I did Kanye's show when he came here. Paul McCartney even. So that was big Broadway plays like The Lion King, The Book of Mormon. So I got to be on these, instead of working local independent rap videos for local rap artists. I got to experience a different level of the entertainment industry, and that kept me going, and it really expanded my horizons on just from just being a cameraman to learning about lighting, costumes. The special effects, building the video walls, even helping the bands change out between artists. So that was kind of my evolution. And then I still work with local artists myself because that's where I get the most control and the most creativity, rather than just following orders at the bigger shows. But both of them are important, and they both go hand in hand. Because if you're going to be a good leader, you have to know how to lead. And how else do you find that out besides, at one point or another, being a good follower, being a good soldier, and listening and learning from the people who have more experience than you and have been there before.
And that's where I think a lot of people lose it, is because they think that they've gotten to a level where they know everything and nobody can tell them anything. And that's one of the things that made me different as an artist and later as an actor. And I'm slowly getting into the videography portion of it. I dip and dabble a little bit. One of my goals is to do a short film. I've been trying to do that for a couple of years, and every time I say I'm going to do it, some acting gig comes up and throws off my whole schedule.
Sure. But, yeah. I mean, real life comes up and throws off my whole schedule all the time. I got a manufacturing gig, that pays the bills. It pays pretty decent, but I still like to be involved in my film work. I still like to stay up to date on the newest technologies, the newest effects that, local artists want in the videos. And, especially in the hip hop game, not only does the sound change every couple of years, the visuals change. So what the artists want. So it's a game, and it's a field that's always evolving and always is changing. From the equipment that we use to the artists, to basic things like lighting and how long you want to hold your scene and the different special effects that artists prefer. So it's always good to keep your hands on the newest equipment, stay current, and stay in the culture. So,
you hit on some key points on that, because a lot of people think that either as a videographer or as an artist, that this is an overnight successful thing.
Absolutely not.
Like
The
nobody
best way
understands
to
the behind the
learn,
scenes.
the best way to learn is to bump your head. You know, you can learn, you can go to film school and learn everything in theory, but and you will feel like you know exactly what you want to do. But until you get your hands on the equipment and learn through trial and error, you know, you're gonna stay stagnant. So you can't be afraid to get out there and make mistakes, because you will make mistakes, but you will also you'll make good and bad mistakes. You'll make mistakes and say, well, dang, I know not to do this next time, or to
Right.
do it this way next time. And you'll also make mistakes while editing or filming and say, dang, I didn't even mean to hold the camera that way. I didn't even mean to cut the clip at that point. I didn't even mean to use this effect. But wow, look how good it looks.
Right.
Look how much my clients appreciate something that I did on accident. So so there's good and bad mistakes, but the best thing to and it doesn't hurt to learn, it doesn't hurt to read, and it doesn't hurt to learn in theory. And watch your favorite music videos, watch your favorite films. Look at everything from how long they hold the clip, to the angles that they shoot, to the colors that they use, because everything is there on purpose. Once you
Right.
get to a certain level in the film industry and the entertainment industry, you understand that especially on the big budgets, there's nothing that makes it into a scene by accident. Everything is on purpose. Everything is to make you feel a certain way, to give off a certain vibe.
Mhm.
And these are things, again, that you learn as you go. Um, if you go to university, your film teacher will tell you about it, but you won't really understand and grasp it until you actually get out there on set, get your hands on a camera, get your hands on an editing program, and go and work with artists. And then you also realize the type of clients that you want to take on.
Right.
You'll realize, you know what, this client isn't right for me, his or her business isn't right, from what you've dealt with in the past, so you don't make the same mistakes again. And then you'll also recognize good talent and good opportunities, because you've been there and you've done that, and you've made your mistakes and you've learned from them. Hopefully.
Now, being that you graduated from a film school, and I've talked to people on both sides of the line, those
Mm-hmm.
that have gone to school and those that have literally just picked up a camera and started filming, and like you said, learn by trial by error. Error. In your opinion, which would be your best advice for somebody that's looking to get into the field?
If you can't get a scholarship, if you can't get somebody to pay for your education, get out there and get right into the field as soon as possible. Get somebody to mentor you, your local videographer. Um, a lot of people don't know about our local community television stations, and these are all paid for with tax dollars. So the only thing that you need to do to be a part of that is to go and take the 2 week, 1 week class and get certified. And these things are free because they're all paid for with our tax dollars. These are local community television stations, and these are things that I didn't know. But now, do I regret going to an actual film school? Not at all. I regret the price tag that came with it. But again, I didn't know what to do or which avenues to go to, until I went to film school. But I would say, really, the some of the people that I learned the most from outside of school were my local videographers that I just reached out to via social media and said, hey, can I film with you? Can I help hold the camera for you? Can I help edit for you? So if you have somebody like that in your life, I would say don't go to school. Save your money and get under those people's wing and be humble, and take constructive criticism, and go from there. Um, but film school is great, but it's just very pricey. So
Exactly, and that's one of the things that it's put into our minds, especially from a lower economic atmosphere, is that
sure,
you have to go to school, that you have to have this documentation to say that you know how to do this or you don't know anything.
You have to go to school to be a doctor. You have to go to school to be an electrician. You have to go to school to be an engineer. You don't have to go to school to be the dopest videographer, director, editor. Now, don't get me wrong. A good film school is great for you, but it's pricey. So if you can't get a scholarship or you know, I would say get out there, join your local IATSE chapter. Make friends at your local community television station, because you can get your hands on everything in there, from Final Cut to Pro Tools to any editing program, to top of the line cameras, cinema cameras like the Red Dragon. You can get your hands on all of these things and not pay a dime. It's all paid for by your taxes already. So I would say join your local IATSE. Get involved with local artists on the scene. Get involved with local videographers. Hit up your local community television station. Every city has one. Believe me, I don't care how small of a town you're from. They have one. Go there and take advantage of that.
And people have a hard time understanding that concept. Especially with the public access stations. They have them here in Atlanta, but it's everybody wants to be a cameraman, but nobody wants to learn how to be a cameraman.
Exactly. You're not gonna. It's like any other craft. It's like picking up a basketball. You can have all the talent in the world, but you got to get in the gym and practice your crossover and practice your shot. And again, you know, don't be afraid to fail. Take a there's people that want to teach you. Me as a videographer at the point that I'm on right now, I would love for a young person to ask me the questions that you're asking right now before they go off to Western Michigan University, right, or Grand Valley or U of M or Georgia Tech or University of Georgia, or whatever school that they go to. Be aware of the resources that will cost you absolutely nothing. And, you know, you don't need a certification to hop on a film set. What you need is a really dope demo reel. You know, if you can get the time of day from these directors and these producers, your demo reel is going to speak way more than any piece of paper that says I graduated from such and such film school. Right. They want to see what you can actually do. So, you know, that's what I would tell any you know, young or old, but you know, figuratively speaking, any young person that's interested in the craft and learning about it. Get your hands on equipment. Go to your local television station. Sign up with your local IATSE chapter, and this is going to get you the experience, you know, and the knowledge to be the best videographer, editor, color corrector. And again, another thing, when we're starting out as videographers and we do small projects, you could be the director, the editor, the producer, all wrapped in one. That's very likely early on in your career. But when you get into these bigger projects, your role is going to be very designated. So, and there's nothing wrong with that, because it takes a team to make these beautiful cinematic pieces. There's, you know, there's no, when you get to that level, there's no producer who's also holding the camera, who's also editing. He's more of a executive producer, right? He's got his team of editors. He's got his team of, you know, the guy holding the camera may never edit. He may never edit any of the footage that he shoots because they got a team of editors already. So there's many different positions to be played. But it's good, you know, very few of us are a master of everything. So it's all right to find your niche, but it's good to have knowledge of everything. If you're a good editor, chances are you also know how to hold a camera. You know the shots that you want. If you're a good videographer, chances are you're a decent editor too. But, you know, as you move, first, you're going to want to have a rounded knowledge of everything that makes a production run smooth. But as you progress in your career, you're gonna find, okay, I'm a cameraman on this job. I'm an editor on this job. I'm the
Mhm.
color correction guy on this job. I'm the director on this job. It's for an example, every Steven Spielberg film, trust me, he did not hold one of those cameras. He didn't press the focus button. He didn't do any of that. He told his team his vision,
Right,
and
and
his
but
cameraman.
his name is the one that holds the weight.
Right, and he's got the vision, and he's the executive producer. So he's directing his editing team. He's directing his cameraman. But this is what you'll find out as you get further on in the industry.
And another thing that even when I started in the music, what a lot of people sleep on too is the pawn shops.
Oh yeah,
Because even here in Atlanta, when I started moving into the videography part, there's a lot of the equipment that we look for and that you look for. A lot of people don't realize that you can find it in the pawn shop, and creating that rapport with the pawn shops opens up doors. Because when I was in Grand Rapids with my music, there was a pawn shop on 44th and Division.
mm-hmm.
And I was so cool with the guy. His name was Paul. And
Mm-hmm.
whenever they got music equipment in, before they put it on the floor, he would give me a call. Hey, I got such and such and such and such. If I didn't want it, then he would go ahead and put it up for sale. But I
Sure,
always got first dibs.
sure,
And
and
people sleep
also
on
a
that.
lot of the times when you're just starting out, for you to grab the newest, best, most expensive equipment can be hindersome to you because your money can go into different avenues.
Mm-hmm.
The newest and best equipment does it. If you don't know how to use it, if you don't know what you're looking for, if you don't know the shots that you want already, you're really just wasting your money. And also, like you said, building a repertoire with pawn shop owners, any resource you can have. Because I mean, I've shot videos with the Red Dragon camera. That's strictly used for cinema. I mean, you're shooting in 6K, 9K, 8K. You know how much that camera would cost you or me? Anywhere from 5 to 20 grand.
Exactly.
It, I can't afford no 5 grand camera right now. I definitely can't afford 20 grand. You
Right.
don't need to spend that much money to get your hands on that equipment. Like I said, check, because it's all paid for with your local tax dollars. Now, don't get me wrong. Be responsible. Treat it with respect, because if you mess it up, they will bill you.
And then you still end up paying $20,000.
Right. But you can get your hands on this standard state of line equipment for free and learn it. So I would say to somebody, man, don't come out of college and grab a 5K Sony camera. Buy a used DSLR.
Thank you.
Figure out what you're looking for. Figure out how to color correct. Figure out how to grab your shots, and then you'll say, okay, well, this piece of equipment would help me in this aspect of my production. So you would know where to invest your money in, and also, like I said, a lot of these resources are there for you for free.
Right.
You just build a positive repertoire. Show people that you're dependable. Show people that you're responsible. Show them that your balls are your word, and that can go a very long way for you building relationships, and just that's the best way to go, because this game it's about longevity. You want to learn, and you're not gonna learn everything overnight. You're just not.
As a matter of fact, if people really look at it, you're also a resource.
Absolutely.
Your videographers are a resource because, number one, just like everything else, you guys are always upgrading. And who best to get equipment from than from somebody that already knows the equipment?
Sure, that you have a relationship with, that knows your strengths and your talents, and says, "Hey, man, you know, this editing program would be good for you. This lens would be good for you. This particular camera." And also, once you get your reel going, and you build repertoire with local artists, the less footwork that you have to do.
Right.
The more work that'll come right to you.
because your name is gonna start speaking for itself. Your brand is gonna stick out on its own.
Sure. And absolutely utilize your social media. Put your reel online so it's just a link. So you can text somebody your link and they can see all your best shots you've ever done. And then because
And
you can talk about what you know how to do all day, but
thank
until
you.
the client sees it or your prospective employer sees it, it's all just words. It's all just words. Your reel, your demo will definitely take you very far in this game. And the way that you get that reel and that demo is by jumping in the project.
Now, I think that's a real strong northern mentality that we come up that we have, is that we understand that this world is visual.
Mm-hmm.
It's audio and it's visual.
Mm-hmm.
And I say the same thing, is like you can talk about what you do all day, but when it comes to what do you have to show?
Your film degree don't mean nothing. I don't care if you went to USC, which is one of the best film schools in the nation. If your reel is trash, you're not gonna get no work. I guarantee you. And also, early on in your career, don't be afraid to work for free. Don't be afraid to pound the pavement and build relationships, because the knowledge that you get is priceless.
None of this is an overnight success. It may look like it, but the only thing that you're seeing from the outside is the finished product of what you perceive as as expert, as your persona of perfect expertise. But you never ask, well, what did you do to get here? How
Sure,
much blood have you spilled? How many tears have you shed? How much
sure.
sweat have you sweat to get from point A to point B? Nobody wants to ask that question.
And somebody that I'd like to use as an example, from Michigan, from the Detroit area, Jerry Productions. He does all of Lil Durk's videos right now. Lil Durk is, as far as the younger scene in hip hop and the drill
Right.
scene in hip hop, we can say he's the biggest artist in hip hop right now. Now this guy as far as I know, now I could be wrong, but he was popping at 18, 19, shooting all the videos for Doughboy's Cash Out, Team Eastside, Vezo. This is how he got on. This is how he made his bones, working with these local artists.
Right.
And like I said, from what I know, he didn't go to any film school. He got his hands on the equipment early, and he learned the equipment. He learned what worked for him. And now like I said, he's the personal videographer of really the top artist in the rap game as far as street music goes. So, Jerry Productions, guys, check out his come up, straight out of Detroit. He just got his hands on the equipment early and taught himself.
And you never know where that's going to lead to. You never know what doors it's going to open to. Like you said before, don't be ashamed to work for free. Everybody's had to pay their dues in one way, shape, or form.
Absolutely. And I'm telling you, that's where you're gonna get the most knowledge from, when you don't put a price tag on it. Now, once you get your work put in and you have your portfolio built, then you can laugh. You can laugh at the low ball prices, and you could tell, you'll never work for free unless you choose to.
Right.
But you got to get to that level. You got to be able to show these people what you can do.
Now, for those that are not aware of the terminology, explain to the upcomer what the portfolio is.
The portfolio, for the most part, is basically just your best shots, back to back, blended seamlessly. So it just depends on what route you want to take. Now, let's say you're a wedding videographer. Your reel is going to be all your past projects, and you're going to compile your best shots into that reel, and it's going to be a link. It's something that your prospective employer or your prospective client can access right away. They don't want to have to download anything.
Right.
They don't want to scroll through a bunch of stuff. You don't want to put a bunch of clips up that's not your best work and say, check out this clip and that clip. No, put all your clips right there. Make it as easily accessible for them as possible. Because also, when you're vying for these highly sought after roles, you got to understand you could be one of 100 different interview possible people for the job. So make it easily accessible. Put your best work first, and let it go. Let it go. It could be 5 different clips from 5 different projects. But make sure it's your best work and it's right at the front, and they can see it right away. They can access it right away. They don't have to surf around any website. As easily accessible as possible, because they're pressed for time. They want to see who they want. And once they see who they want, I guarantee you, they might be polite and interview everybody else, but they already know who they want.
Right.
So make it easy for them to see your work.
Now, in the length, in the span, and speaking of the time length of a reel, now as an actor, most of our reels are usually 1 minute to a minute and 30 seconds, maybe 2 if we push it.
Sure.
What would you say would be the average length for a videographer reel?
I would say about where you put it at, a minute to 2 minutes. But I will also say that a prospective employer or a prospective client is going to know within 30 seconds. And 30 seconds is really pushing it. I would say the average will know within 15 seconds of watching your clips if you're the person that they want or not.
Now, have you had, in getting your start, what type of difficulties did you face to get from where you were to where you are?
Not being as specific as I would like to have been with certain clients of the services that I'm going to provide and what to expect. So always be as specific as you possibly can with the services that you offer to your clients. I remember I shot a quinceañera, right? And I told, so put it in black and white, literally. Write it down, type it down, black and white, exactly the services that you're going to provide and the cost that it'll be. The more specific that you can be, the better, because you don't want any confusion. Like I said, my first project was a quinceañera. I told the lady that I shot it for, it would be a montage. It would not be the whole quinceañera. It would be a montage. Mm-hmm. So the best parts of the quinceañera, basically a trailer. Right. Basically a trailer of the quinceañera, the best parts, put together the best shots, tell a brief story, put cool music behind it, and here we go. And I don't know how she didn't understand it, but she thought that I was going to film the whole quinceañera top to bottom. So, and it's embarrassing. It's a mistake that I made. It was unprofessional of me. But still, she really took advantage of that and expected the most for something that I definitely made clear verbally that I wasn't going to do. Right. So always be as specific as possible. Put it in black and white, the most official contract that you can put together. Be very specific with what the services that you are going to provide so that there's no confusion later on down the line. That was a big mistake that I made.
What projects are you working on now? Because like I said, I know Grand Rapids like the back of my hand. So what projects are you working on now?
Unfortunately, I'm currently not working on any projects. I've got a good paying manufacturing gig, and that's paying the bills and keeping me very busy. But anyway, I'm in talks with Shadow the Sorcerer. Are you familiar with Shadow?
I know a few Shadows, so I got to be careful with.
Okay, Mad Ave Shadow, Madison Avenue Shadow.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I could possibly be doing a project with him, and also my god brother OMB Chop. Okay. We should be working shortly together. But right now, I am currently not working on any projects because I'm just so busy with regular life, unfortunately, right now.
Everybody has to pay attention to that because even though we do what we love, we still have bills to pay.
Sure, sure.
And this doesn't always pay the bills. It helps out here and there, but we still gotta grind and hustle in other ways to do what we gotta do. But
Right.
the fact of the matter is that the goal that you have can be achieved if it's really what you want.
Absolutely, absolutely. And for the right person, if it makes sense and the business is right, I'm only a call away. And I can be an editor, I could be the cameraman, I could be the director, I could be the color correction guy. It just depends on what they want and what they're paying and how much faith that I have in the project. These are all things that I take into consideration before, and also my schedule,
Right.
because it is very important to be professional, and anything that you say, anything that you commit to, stay obligated, because it will affect you later on down the line, because word travels and your
Boy,
reputation precedes you. So, don't make promises that you can't keep in anything, but especially in this videography game.
this is a real cutthroat industry, just like many others.
Very
And
much so. Very
if you
much so.
if you do not protect your name and if you do not protect your brand, it is very easy to get it sliced and diced.
And also, I'm gonna keep it real with whoever the audience out there. If you are like I said, the, when you are working with street guys, it's still street rules. You can be the cameraman, but your word is your bond. It'll keep you out of a lot of trouble and confusion. So make sure when you commit to something, you follow through, because
That
it
was going to
makes a
be the
difference,
next topic too.
and
Is
your
that
reputation precedes you. And
yep?
and also, you could start out working with street guys, but if you break your bond and you break your word with them, you're not going to get to the Spielbergs. You're not going to get to the Hype Williams. You're not going to, you got to take every project serious, and approach it with integrity and purpose.
The other thing too is that you have to maintain that balance between business and friendship
Absolutely.
because a lot
Ab-
of people will take your friendship as a way to take advantage of the business.
Well, business 101, it is that you don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate.
Mm-hmm.
So always keep that in mind. Always keep that in mind. You might get paid more than you're worth. You might get paid less than you're worth. It's about how you negotiate, but also we don't know how to negotiate right out of the gate. So this is another thing that you learn along the way, is how to
Exactly.
negotiate, how what your worth is, and as you move farther along in your career, less negotiation is necessary, because your work speaks for itself. But
Exactly.
still, your negotiating skills are very important. Very important.
Especially being independent.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people don't realize that either. Is that the independent entrepreneur, you never know when their star is going to shine,
Absolutely. So,
and you don't know what they're going through. You don't know who You don't know who Nathan is connected to.
sure, sure. I mean, it's just like everything in life. Treat everybody with the same level of respect, because it's due to them. Because you never know who they might end up being, and just like they never know who you might end up being. You
Right.
know.
And see, that's what been my biggest thing, especially down here, is that they have a very divified attitude. And I'm like, look, you're in Atlanta, and everybody knows you in Atlanta. That's because they brag about being Grady babies because that's the biggest hospital down here, and everybody went to school with each other, and everybody grew up with each other. I'm like, look, that doesn't count because they have to like you.
Mm-hmm.
Now go from Atlanta to Grand Rapids, and see how many people know you.
Sure. And then you know, I know in Atlanta they can be cutthroat, but up north we got no problem, you know what I mean? Like being rude right to your face, you know what I
Thank you.
mean? So
Because we be real about it.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like they try to say it's not where you from, it's where you at. And
Right.
that range like worldwide. It's like it doesn't matter who you are in Atlanta. You're in my city now, and I don't know you. I've never heard of
Exactly.
you.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
you have to get in with the local people in order to be known, and you
And
can't do that being an asshole.
right. And then also, you know, just because you're in a smaller market, and I'm not saying that Grand Rapids is so much of a smaller market than Atlanta, but when you're in a smaller market, smaller markets are sometimes better for you to make your name because it's less competition. And when I say that less competition, I just mean numbers wise. I don't mean talent wise,
Right.
because that's to be seen. But you know, there's a million videographers in Atlanta. There's probably 1,000 to 2,000 in Grand Rapids. So you know, it's you might have a little bit of an easier grind. I'm not gonna say easier, but a grind that makes more sense in a smaller market. And again, it's kind of like the guy just getting fresh out of film school. You don't need to go buy a $5,000 camera. Buy a $500 to $800 used DSLR. Learn what you're doing. So that way, when you do get your money up and you go buy the $5,000 camera, you
Right.
know exactly what to do with it. You know how to get the most out of it. So
And I appreciate, man, what y'all doing for the city of Grand Rapids, man, because even when I was there, man, a lot of these boys need that camaraderie, and they need to
sure,
know that they have these kind of resources, and they need to have conversations like this to know that there's people that they can actually reach out to.
absolutely. And I actually wished more so that I would have taken that route. You know, before spending a bunch of money on film school, which I still don't regret because
Right.
it helped school period helped me mature, and it took me out of situations that maybe weren't the safest and best for me back home, and put me in a different space to be more clear-headed and learn and grow as an individual and meet new people and network with new people and learn different things. So I would say that was probably the best thing that I got out of film school. But still, always take advantage of your local community television station. If you have an IATSE chapter, definitely become a part of it, and you know, definitely don't be afraid to work for free with your local videographers.
Yeah.
Definitely, and be appreciative because they don't have to give you their time. They definitely don't. So be appreciative and you know, learn as you go. And mistakes sometimes are the best things you can make.
A lot of people don't believe that. They think everything has to be perfect.
I know. I didn't believe it when I was first starting out either. You know, it took me bumping my head. I'm hard headed.
For people to view your work, where would they go to find your work?
Go to Google. Go to Google and type in edits by Nitty. Edits by Nitty. EDITS space by space Nitty. NITTI. Or you can go on YouTube and you can Google my name. I wish my last name wasn't so hard to spell, but you can just type in Nate Crickwall, NATE space KRZ as in zebra, Y as in yellow, KWA. It'll take you right to my YouTube channel. And like I said, you go to Google, type in Edits by Nitty, it'll bring you right to my portfolio site. The link will pop right up, and you can check out my work.
Now, anybody that's interested, that's in the Grand Rapids, now, do you just maintain just the Grand Rapids area, or if you have the opportunity to travel, what's the furthest that you would travel for to do video?
If it make dollars, it makes sense. I'll go anywhere that it makes sense that to take me away from my regular job. You know, You just got to beat my employer's price, and I'll be there.
So now y'all pay attention to this because the avenues are out here. The contacts are out here. You don't have to be rich and famous. And a lot of the rich and famous people you can't even approach. There's people that are right there in your community that are more than willing to help. You guys, look, you just have to ask sensible questions.
Ask sensible questions, and do not be afraid to work with your local videographers, your local talent, because those are going to be the guys that are going to get you to the level where you can work with the little babies and the little Dirks and the Kanye Wests and the Hype Williams and the, don't be afraid to have humble beginnings, because humble beginnings are a great foundation to build greatness from, so.
Now, I can tell you from experience, because when I started going on sets, I was accused of brown nosing and kissing people's ass because I'm talking to the cameraman. When you're holding the camera, like you said, when you're holding the camera that way, what are you looking for? What are you looking at? When you're doing that angle, what kind of angle is that? And where everybody else thought that I was brown nosing, it's like, no, I'm asking questions because this might be the next step that I have to go to.
And you know what? If those people can't provide an opportunity for you, if they can't open doors for you, who cares what they think? If they think being polite and inquiring about knowledge is brown nosing, then that's probably somebody that you can't do too much with. You can't grow with. So, those people are not seeing the bigger picture. So, you know what I mean? And obviously you're gonna get way more bees with honey than with shit. So, don't be shitty. Don't have a shitty attitude. Don't be a shitty person. Be polite. Talk with respect. Hey man, if you got to carry around the cameraman's equipment for him, if that's what he wants you to do, for him to teach you everything he knows, I call that a deal.
Exactly. Because that's how you have to learn at some point.
Yeah, definitely. So
man, look,
don't be afraid to learn. Don't be afraid to be and I don't want to say it as a degrading thing, but don't be afraid to be the lowest head on the totem pole. You gotta start from somewhere. At least you're on the totem pole.
Exactly. And everything from there is a step up.
Mm-hmm.
But that step up depends on where you want to go with it.
Oh, also, take advantage of your YouTube. Take advantage of LinkedIn Learning. Take advantage of these things because there's a bunch of videographers on YouTube. YC Imaging. Yeah, YC Imaging is just one example. And these guys will show you how to do the effects. They'll teach you about editing and all this stuff. So there's resources. There's a bunch of resources for videographers out there for free. Or it might just cost you some respect and integrity in your time. But you definitely don't have to reach right in your pockets to be who you want to be.
And people need to hear this, man. And that's why I like having people that are independent, that have been through the trenches to get to where they are, because a lot of people don't understand it.
And I'm still in the trenches. I'm still learning every day. I'm still learning every day. So
trust me, we all are, and that's why I like having these conversations so people can see how real it is. That no matter how difficult it looks like, there are ways to get around that difficulty just by connecting with people.
And it's not even that difficult. It just is the difficulty is having patience and being humble, because you might know that you're the dopest person in the world, and you might just be. Who's to tell you that you aren't? But you got to earn that spot. You got to earn the right to command these people's attention. So it's gonna take time, but that doesn't mean it's gonna take a long time. But it is gonna take time. It's gonna take patience, and it's gonna take dedication. Like anything that you want out of life,
Man, look, I appreciate you for taking the time out to come on the show and share your knowledge with everybody. Somebody's going to learn. Somebody is going to pick up on it. You know, you touch on a lot of things like the public access. Just stepping in and just getting your feet wet, because sometimes that's all it takes is to just jump in.
Sure. And if you're in high school still, get into your multimedia classes, get into your communication classes. You know what I mean? Film your local sports games. Film your local dance team. This is how you're gonna learn. This is how you're gonna learn. So when you get into the music videos and you get on the film sets, you know, you already have the basic knowledge to grow from and learn from. You know, don't be afraid of the fundamentals. You know, we see a lot of NBA stars and athletes. They know how to do the fancy stuff, but what keeps them from being champions? They don't know the fundamentals. So learn the fundamentals and then get fancy.
Well, man, once again, man, I appreciate you for taking the time out, man.
Appreciate you,
I love what y'all doing in my city, man. I miss it. I miss Grand Rapids, but I don't miss it because I had to make a change. But man, I love the way that it's coming up, especially in the entertainment industry and now in the movie industry. And man, much love and success for you, man. There's too many stories out here, man, and the big boys ain't gonna be around here for long.
Sure.
So whether people want to realize it or not, or understand it or not, you guys are our next Steven Spielbergs. You guys are our next, you know,
Hype Williams, Martin
Scorsese,
John Singletons.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
You guys are the next ones. You guys are the next on the block to come up, and we have to give y'all that respect, and we have to show y'all that love because you are the next ones to come up. Because Hollywood, in a nutshell, are running out of ideas, and they're coming to you guys for the ideas.
Sure. And again, before Hollywood makes the big budget films, they reach out to the talents in different areas, you know. So you never know. It might be you one day. So stay dedicated, stay learning, stay respectful, stay building relationships, and sky's the limit.
But thank you again, man. Yo, this is Nathan. Say your last name again because I ain't trying to butcher it.
It's all good. Crickwa.
Nathan Crickwa. Yo, check him out. Check out his portfolio. Check out his work on YouTube. And if y'all looking for somebody to do your video, this is one of the people that you contact right there in the Grand Rapids area, right there in your neighborhood. Stop being scared, y'all.
We'll put out some good product, man. Definitely. Get at me.
All right, man. Thank you much, man. Nathan, I appreciate it. I'm going to tell Jerome that you came on the show. Any shout outs that you want to give to anybody?
I want to shout out the whole Grand Rapids, the southeast side, the southwest side, the north side, Kentwood, Wyoming. Definitely Big Chop, Little Chop. You know, y'all know. You know what I'm saying? So, and everybody else, man. Everybody else that's grinding, man. And shout out to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
All right, man. I appreciate that. Look, the next time I can get up to Grand Rapids, man, I'm gonna have to come and holler at you, though.
Definitely, bro. We gotta chop it up, man.
All right, man. Well, you have a good evening, man. And thank you again for coming on the show. Yo, this is Nathan Crickwa. Y'all hit him up for your video work. Peace, man.
Peace.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Nathan Crickwa. And you can check out his work on YouTube. You can check him out on his website. I'm going to be posting that on the ICON Chronicles page. Follow my man. Check my man out. Grand Rapids, holla at him. Put some work in my man's hand. I got to give much love and thanks to my cousin Jerome for hooking us up. Y'all know that I will be back on Wednesday with the regular day show. This is another special presentation of the ICON Chronicles, and I hope that y'all enjoyed it. Again, Nathan Crickwa was my guest tonight, and I will be looking for my next guest. If it's you, yo, hit me up. Let's make this work. Y'all have a great evening. Y'all have a great day, and I will see y'all on Wednesday. Peace.